All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rob Romanowski. I'm the Director of Sales Operations for 3HTI, and leading our webinar today focusing on parts classification via Windchill PLM is Shane Rigger, and Shane is a solutions consultant with PTC's Virtual Center of Excellence, as well as an applications engineer. So he is going to take us through some insight to this application for Windchill PLM. If you have any questions during the webinar, just put those into the Q&A box. We'll try to answer them as we go, but we'll definitely answer them at the end. Without further ado, let me see here. We already have a question. Is there a classification for purchased parts? You don't have to answer that right now. If I don't want to ruin the build-up, Shane, it's up to you, buddy.
Yeah, you can have different classifications per those, so we can get a quick answer in.
Excellent. Cool. So how's that for a quick answer? So anyway, Shane, I'll let you take the con. I think this is about 10-15 minutes tops. So thank you for helping us, Shane. You always do a great job, and you did a great job with us for a customer demo last week. So thanks for continuing to help us.
Yeah, thank you, Rob. All right. Yeah, so we can get into it. Like Rob was talking about, it's going to be all around parts classification. So within Windchill, how do you manage your parts? How do you find your parts, and how do you make sure that there's no reuse, right? So that's a big challenge that we face with a lot of our customers, is being able to understand what parts they're currently working with, classifying those parts, and having an understanding of what you're currently working with. And our first challenge is, like I was mentioning, it's around designers often, they have issues around finding or reusing the correct parts. And what happens is that leads to that duplication throughout their systems. So for example, whenever there's an inability to find that correct information, you tend to go and recreate that part that already exists. And that, of course, leads to that duplication, having multiple of the same parts, and problems such as that can really add up. And because designers are recreating those models, it really takes time away from them. So having to design those parts, and also adds clutter to any existing system you may have. And then lastly, having more inventory will, of course, increase cost throughput for an organization, especially whenever you're working with thousands, if not tens of thousands of different parts. So the solution with PTC is with parts classification, which again, what this does is it really allows you to manage those different parts based on different attributes to, of course, promote your reuse and reduce that inventory that you would have within the system. And we start in terms of the capabilities with the advanced searching. So as you can see in the screenshot on the right-hand side, you can get pretty granular in the searching capabilities within the system, which you'll notice in the demonstration as well. So you can add criteria or different attributes to those parts to then be able to search upon. So it makes it very quick and easy to find any parts that you're already managing. And there's also a tailored part structure configuration. So what this does is it allows you to set up a classification outline, and based off of could be your company's best practice or your business practices that you want to put in place. If you look at, again, the picture on the right-hand side, this is allowing you to do, what this is allowing you to do is tailor that structure to be how you want it to be structured. So from the example, you can have it broken down on that left-hand side. So your parts, electronic versus mechanical, and then you're breaking it down even further. So you can get really granular in how you're really organizing that data. And then again, because it's within Windchill, it's giving you that single point to access all of that part information, and also relating it to, let's say, your bill of materials, for example. So understanding those relationships as well. Okay, so now we'll get into the actual demonstration itself. And as I'm going through, again, if there's any questions, feel free to type them in chat. But what I'm going to be going through is understanding within Windchill, how is that data being managed? How can you quickly find it? And then how are you able to organize that data as well? So showing you a little bit on the administration side. So firstly, you have the advanced search. So the advanced search within Windchill, again, very robust, but extremely valuable to have. So coming in here, there's different types that you can search upon. So if you were going through a change, searching by document, things of that nature, you can search on those. For today, we're just going to focus on our WT part, which is how we're organizing our parts. And then as soon as we select that, you're going to see a couple different options down here at the bottom populate in. So the classification for the part that you're searching for, criteria for that part. A common example I use is working with a washer. So if you have a washer and you have, for your criteria, you have the outside and inside diameters, you can actually search on those dimensions that you have on that part. So it makes it very quick and easy to store that information and then be able to quickly find it. So again, that's where you're starting to understand that you're able to reuse those parts a lot easier and more efficiently. And then you have your classification explorer. So this is how you're able to manage any inventory and components in a way that makes sense. So again, using that example from earlier, electronic versus mechanical, they have very clear distinctions. And this all revolves around parts links. So this is the ability to lay out your part schema how you want within your organization. So if we work down between one of our structure here, let's say we wanted to figure out where our integrated circuits were. So we know electronic, and then well, starting with your part, of course, then going to electronic, and then going down into that integrated circuit. And then if you wanted it from the mechanical side, we could come back up to our part, search down to the mechanical, working off the example I gave earlier. So trying to find a washer, and then using those easy to see images as well if you're wanting to include images. It just makes it very quick and easy for anybody to come in, understand the system here for those different classifications you would have, and then in our case, finding that flat washer. So prevalent throughout the system is being able to facet your searching. So once you do find your components, here you can see that we have a list of 51 objects. So we're storing 51 washers in here. Now we need to narrow those search results down because we're trying to find a specific one, right? So what we can do is utilize the faceted searching on the left-hand side. So if you had sourcing status associated to the parts, if you're working with different vendors, you can even filter down between those approved or preferred. And then, like I was mentioning earlier, adding in that criteria to the search. So in this case, outside, inside diameters, if it's a certain series, nominal sizing. So you can be extremely granular in what information is being tied to that part and then being able to quickly search upon that. So like you've seen, it makes it very easy using that classification explorer, finding the type of part we're looking for, and then being able to facet those search results down from, in this case, 51 to 50. I mean, down to 1. And then once you find your part, and this doesn't have to be just with your parts, but any CAD object that you're working on within Windchill, you have a thumbnail navigator. So this is extremely valuable. Once you do narrow down your search results, it's going to show you this lightweight representation, visualization of that object. So you can hover over that thumbnail, have the thumbnail navigator pop up, and then you can start to interrogate the model. So actually change the orientation, zoom in, zoom out, make sure that this is the part you're working with. And then what's also really valuable is having an understanding of where this is being used. So you have all these different parts you're managing. So in this case, your washer. From this washer, if this washer was being used on 5 different products, you would see that within that where used. So again, it makes it very easy filtering down between those searches, quickly seeing if this is the object you're working with, and then also understanding the impact that this part would have. And then you can also scroll along the horizontal axis here and then see all that additional information. So in this case, the classification that this part has, the sourcing status, pretty much everything we were just searching upon. Okay, and then let's say once you do find your object, you want to open that up and start to work with that part. It's, again, very straightforward. You can just go straight to the little eye icon and then start to get any information for this. From here in that classification, you can see all of that, all of those attributes that we've given to this part, general information, the classification, like I was mentioning. So seeing that breakdown, how we were working through it earlier with your part, mechanical, your metric fasteners, etc. And then also understanding when the last modifications were made and things like that. And something I touched on with the thumbnail navigator is understanding the impact that a part would have. And you can also access that same information from here. So going up to the where used, if you select on this, again, really valuable tab to have. So from here, you search for your part, you're able to come into the part and open up your where used. And now you understand, okay, these are the 4, 5, or 10 different products that the change impact would have. So if you make a change to that washer, it's going to possibly affect those those different products that would be tied in here on the Where Used tab. So let's say you want to add a new part to a structure. Again, pretty straightforward. So we can come into one of our structures, our bill of materials, and simply hit Insert New, and then we can begin to add a new part. And then you can see how you can kind of enforce a process for any new parts brought in as well. And the reason that it's important to have a process is, let's say you have somebody that would just bring in a part, like an engineer just brings in a part that they created, but they don't give it a classification. There's no organization to it. So now it's just kind of in your system. So enforcing these types of processes, make sure that it's categorized the correct way and it's including any necessary information for somebody to be able to search upon to find that new object. So in this case, what we're going to do is simply add a new part in, like I was mentioning, giving it your own naming convention, in this case, choosing our design view, and then simply just creating that part. And then you can see your classification tree. So again, kind of enforcing a process here. So you could say anytime a new part's added in, we want them to add this classification in. If you have your own review process, of course, you can also tie that into any workflows you have. So in this case, we're adding in a new washer. We'll give it that classification for that flat washer. And now it's tied to the flat washers. And again, it's keeping all the information in one place, allowing you to easily manage it. And then similar to what we saw before with the different criteria or attributes that you can give to the objects or the parts, here you can see what this would look like. Again, this is something that you can enforce so that you're making sure that all of the appropriate information is included all along the way. And then of course, once you're done, just simply finishing that, and then that would be brought into that it would be brought into that bill of materials that we're working with. And then Windchill is doing its job here. So now that we've made a change to this this assembly or this bill of materials, we added in that new part. Now it's saying, hey, you need to check this back in before you can continue working with this object. So here, all we're doing is checking this back in, leaving a comment to say what changed in this. Again, if you had a workflow in place, then it would go through the correct review process or approval process you have, and then everything would be up to date in that way. So now that we added in that part into our bill of materials, now being able to search upon that, I showed you how you could filter down those search results, use the classification explorer, but you can also just simply search for those parts as well. So just typing in the same name that we just gave to that part, you can quickly find that new part. If you were even trying to search on material types, you can also search upon that. Pretty much anything in Windchill is going to be searchable. You can search upon. Then the last thing to cover here is how you actually set that up and what that would look like, the classification explorer that we saw. And again, this is more of a business level decision or discussion, and this is how you define your schema. So what we saw earlier is that tree breakdown. You can open up the flat washers that we were working with. You can see how you would add in all that additional information. So any image, if it was a mandatory something to be brought in, and those different attributes like we were mentioning, so the different dimensioning that you would have on your parts. And I saw James had a question. It was asking, do you have to set up Windchill with the parts classification menu? So I'm hoping that what I just showed kind of explained how this would be done. So you would just use what you're seeing here, the administration, and where you would just come in and add in any of that information. So setting up your tree structure and then adding in any attributes and images as you would want. Okay, then I want to wrap up in talking about how this can really bring a lot of benefit to any company utilizing this, especially already working within Windchill. So instead of any designers trying to recreate the wheel really, they can focus on value-added design work. Again, being able to quickly search upon any of those existing parts, not having to recreate that wheel. And you might pick a part that you weren't necessarily looking for, but it was the closest thing that you could find. It could lead to some rework down the line, which is, of course, it could be quite expensive. And you want to be able to reduce the product complexity for any users so that they don't have to search through numerous different parts to find what they're looking for. And of course, lastly, it can reduce inventory cost on those parts. So your inventory is much smaller because you have a more efficient way of allowing your engineers to find the information without having to go through and recreate everything that they're looking for. Okay, so that's all I had to cover for parts classification today, and I'll pass it off to Rob.
Hey, thanks a lot, Shane. Short and sweet, excellent job as always. So thank you very much. Appreciate the questions that came in also. So if you have any further questions or want some more detail on Windchill or a custom demo, you can just respond to the email that I sent you. All replies to emails sent out for webinar invitations come to me, obviously, since I send them out. But if you have any questions, you can reply to those emails, or you can email me at rromanowski@3hti.com, or you can email us at info@3hti.com, which is a lot better than remembering how to spell Romanowski. So next week, we will have a webinar next Wednesday regarding Windchill's NPM link. So really looking forward to looking at how Windchill supports the manufacturing process as well. And Shane, you'll be with us next Wednesday. So thanks again, everybody, for being on. I'll have the recording out to you either today or tomorrow, and enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.